There was no wind in the void, yet something unseen stirred, carrying with it the weight of ancient grudges and a fate that refused to be buried. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. The withered owl pair burst forth in a blinding flash, and in that instant a suffocating, killing aura flooded the void. The clone battling Tarshan did not hesitate. It retreated at once, rejoining the other four. Their hands moved in unison, forming intricate seals as a deep, ancient chant rolled from their lips. As the killing intent spread like a silent storm, a shimmering barrier of light rose around three of the clones. Yet almost immediately, the radiance dimmed, its glow drained away, as the barrier turned a lifeless grey, hardening into stone. A heartbeat later, fractures spiderwebbed across its surface. With a sharp, echoing crack, the petrified screen shattered completely. The five clones stood pale, their faces drained of color, but what lingered in their eyes was not weakness but fear. A deep, unmistakable terror. Without a moment's hesitation, they turned and fled into the distance. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed coldly. He stepped forward and vanished. In the blink of an eye, he reappeared beside one of the fleeing clones. The moment he materialized, he opened his mouth and expelled a streak of golden light. Within that brilliance lay a small 3-inch stamp. But the instant it emerged, it swelled, violently expanding into a colossal mass over 100 feet wide, descending with crushing force upon the clone. The aura it carried was overwhelming, so dense it seemed almost tangible, as though heaven itself had taken form. The clone's face blanched. The moment the stamp fell, every trace of power within his body was sealed. A terrifying realization seized him. He was facing the will of the heavens. Then, a thunderous crash. The stamp struck. The clone let out a miserable cry as his body collapsed, crumbling apart. Yet just as his origin soul struggled to escape, the dimmed stamp flared back to life. In an instant, it erupted into blinding brilliance, its golden radiance sweeping across 10,000 feet of space. It was as though a second sun had ignited within the void. A piercing scream echoed from within the origin soul. The golden light pierced through it, transforming into countless sealing marks that bound it completely, leaving no path of escape. As if drawn by an irresistible force, the origin soul was dragged inward, absorbed into the stamp itself. Not far away, the remaining four clones trembled with shock, turning to flee once more. But Wang Lin grasped the stamp and gave chase without mercy. They sped away, but suddenly Wang Lin halted. His eyes flickered with cold clarity, and a faint sneer tugged at his lips. "You're trying to lure me away." He abandoned the pursuit and sat cross-legged within the void. Tarshan arrived at once, standing guard, while Wang Lin's divine sense expanded outward like an invisible tide. A few breaths passed. Then, his eyes snapped open. Without hesitation, he surged forward in a streak of light. At that same moment, the four fleeing clones abruptly changed direction, charging straight toward him. The fastest among them closed the distance to within 10,000 feet. A resolute, almost fanatical expression crossed his face. Then, without hesitation, he ignited his own origin soul and flesh. His cultivation exploded outward, his speed multiplying several times over. In the blink of an eye, he closed to within 100 feet of Wang Lin, and detonated. The self-destruction of a peak corporeal Yang cultivator unleashed a force so terrifying it seemed capable of tearing the void apart. A violent wave of destruction surged outward, engulfing Wang Lin. At the critical moment, Wang Lin's eyes flashed. He retreated swiftly, slapping his storage bag. 3 small flags shot out, spinning rapidly around him. At the same time, he summoned the mountain and river screen. With a single wave of his hand, the surrounding void transformed into a vast painting of mountains and rivers. When the explosion struck, the entire painting twisted and warped under the impact. Though it absorbed much of the force, a portion still penetrated through. After all, this was but a replica, not the true artifact. A tear opened within the purple vortex. The remaining destructive force slammed directly into Wang Lin's body, rushing straight toward his origin soul. He staggered back, his face paling, but the killing intent in his eyes only grew sharper. Fortunately, I possessed the ancient god leather armor. Otherwise, even if I survived, I would have been gravely injured. Before he could recover, the remaining 3 clones closed in. Their eyes burned with madness, their auras swelling to the brink of detonation. They charged forward without hesitation, as though they would not rest until Wang Lin was destroyed. Wang Lin's gaze turned icy. He would not allow the same tactic to succeed again. Instead of retreating, he advanced. With a single point of his right hand, the withered pair shot forth, releasing a chilling killing intent. One of the clone's legs instantly turned to stone. Wang Lin moved like a bolt of lightning, appearing before the immobilized clone. His fingers formed a sword, and with a precise strike between the brows, the clone shattered into countless fragments of stone. At that very moment, the remaining 2 clones arrived, their auras reaching their peak on the verge of eruption. Yet even in the face of such danger, Wang Lin remained eerily calm. He raised his right hand. Stop! The spell took hold. One clone froze in place. In that instant, Tarshan lunged forward, seizing the other clone and dragging it far into the distance. A deafening explosion followed. The impact slammed into Tarshan's body. His face turned pale, his body trembling violently, but he endured. Although Wang Lin had thwarted 2 self-destructions in succession, the final clone could no longer contain the surging force within its body. It exploded. A violent storm of destruction surged directly toward Wang Lin. At that critical juncture, the celestial ceiling stamp expanded once more, this time to 1,000 feet, standing upright before him like an indomitable shield. The explosion roared as it struck the stamp with unimaginable force. Wang Lin was driven back over 30 steps, pushed through the void along with the towering seal, until at last he came to a halt. The killing intent in his eyes had reached its peak. As the destructive force dissipated, Wang Lin shot forward like a falling meteor, his aura brimming with boundless killing intent. Tarshan followed closely behind. Above Wang Lin floated the withered pair. Beneath him, the celestial ceiling stamp glowed faintly. Guided by the imprisoned origin soul within it, Wang Lin traversed tens of thousands of kilometers in an instant. At last, he saw it, a massive formation, ancient and imposing. At its center lay a crystal coffin. His eyes burned with killing intent. And there, the man in black robes stood, his expression dark, a trace of shock hidden within his gaze. Though the void had been still, the sheer momentum of the 1,000-foot celestial ceiling stamp stirred a fierce wind. The gust caused the man's robes to ripple. Wang Lin's pupils contracted sharply. Beneath the fluttering black robe, he saw white bones. Aside from the head, everything beneath the robe was nothing but a skeleton. As the raging wind gradually subsided, the black robe settled once more, concealing the figure beneath. The man stood motionless, his gaze fixed upon Wang Lin. His lips moved faintly, barely a whisper, and from between his brows a streak of black light shot forth. The moment it emerged, the light condensed into a short black sword, slicing through the void with a sharp, piercing whistle as it sped toward Wang Lin. The black-robed man did not pause. His lips continued to murmur, his voice low and indistinct. One ray of black light after another burst forth from his forehead, each transforming into a short sword. In the span of a breath, more than 10 black swords tore through the air, converging on Wang Lin like a swarm of deadly serpents. Wang Lin did not move. His eyes remained calm, unreadable. The man before him possessed an unfathomably high cultivation, far beyond the illusory yin or corporeal yang stages. And yet, Wang Lin's gaze flickered. Aside from his head, the man's entire body was nothing but bone. No matter how powerful he might once have been, such a form meant one thing. He could not wield his full strength. A quiet certainty settled in Wang Lin's heart. At most, early-stage Nirvana Scryer. Just as the black swords closed in, Tarshan stepped forward at Wang Lin's silent command. The injuries he had suffered earlier were insignificant to him. His massive body shone with a fierce brilliance as he advanced, throwing a single devastating punch. The punch distorted space itself, forming a vortex that dragged the incoming swords toward its center. Yet the blades resisted, bursting free from the pull. Twisting like venomous snakes, they pierced into Tarshan's body. A series of explosions echoed through the void. Tarshan's expression did not change. His fists moved like thunder, striking again and again. Each blow sent a sword flying backward. Even when some evaded his attacks, they failed to leave so much as a mark upon his body. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed. He moved. Like a flash of lightning, he surged forward, his right hand pointing toward the Witherdao pair. The pair shimmered, then shot forward, releasing an overwhelming killing intent that flooded the world. The moment that intent spread, a faint grey light appeared upon the black-robed man. His gaze grew complicated. A quiet sigh escaped his lips. It has been many years since I last saw Master's treasure. From beneath the robe, a skeletal hand rose, white bones exposed, chilling to behold. His fingers formed a seal. Instantly the grey light halted, then reversed, retreating rapidly before vanishing altogether. At that same moment his lips moved once more. A ray of pure white light emerged from his brow, transforming into a feathered fan. The instant it appeared, the fan began to sway. A wind was born. Low thunder rumbled within it. In the blink of an eye, the wind swelled into a violent storm, lightning crackling within as it surged toward Wang Lin with terrifying force. Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged. He raised his right hand and pointed toward the heavens. The celestial sealing stamp shot upward, then descended with merciless force, carrying a profound and ancient sealing power as it crashed toward the black-robed man. At the same time, Wang Lin retreated. As the thunderstorm closed in, his ancient thunder dragon soul burst forth from his body, opening its maw to devour the storm whole. Thunder roared within him. The violent energy surged through his body, forcing him to retreat step by step. When the last of the storm was consumed, the dragon soul returned to his origin. A flush rose to Wang Lin's face as the remnants of thunder coursed through him, crackling violently beneath his skin. Meanwhile, the black-robed man's expression had turned grave. Above him, the celestial sealing stamp descended like the wrath of heaven itself. Cracking sounds echoed from beneath his robe. His face twisted into a hideous expression as both skeletal hands rose, forming a seal. Raising heaven. At his command, a mysterious force surged from within 5,000 kilometers. It gathered like invisible strands of energy, drawn toward his hands as if pulled by an unseen force. The energy coiled, forming a vast vortex above him. His expression grew increasingly ferocious. Then, he pushed upward with all his might. A deafening explosion shook the void. The sound reverberated so violently that even the approaching members of the chosen immortal clan were forced to halt, their bodies trembling as they were driven back. Those of weaker cultivation coughed blood, unable to withstand the shockwave. The celestial sealing stamp trembled, and for a brief moment it halted. The black-robed man's face paled slightly. In that instant, Wang Lin surged forward. With a swift motion, he reached into his bag and drew forth the celestial sword, slashing down without hesitation. Heavenly chop. The black-robed man's eyes narrowed. Dark light gathered within them. As the heavenly chop descended, two beams of light shot from his eyes, colliding directly with the attack. A thunderous boom. The heavenly chop shattered. With such cultivation, the black-robed man said coldly, his hoarse voice echoing through the void, "You are not even worthy of making me move. If this is all you possess, then you are unfit to hold my master's treasure." Wang Lin remained calm. He looked at the man in silence, then raised a hand and pointed toward the sky. Seal, release. A series of sharp, cracking sounds echoed from the celestial sealing stamp. Golden light burst forth, then another, and another. In an instant, countless rays of golden brilliance erupted, transforming the once dim stamp into a blazing sun. A terrifying pressure spread outward, overwhelming everything in its path. Golden runes flickered across its surface, hundreds of thousands of them densely packed, radiating ancient power. Wang Lin's eyes turned icy. "Descend." The stamp fell once more. This time nothing could stop it. It was as if the heavens themselves were collapsing. The black-robed man's expression changed drastically. 10 dragons raised the heavens. As he shouted, the black light between his brows flared. 10 black dragons burst forth, their tails still connected to his head. Roaring fiercely, they surged toward the descending stamp. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions tore through the void. The dragons slammed into the stamp again and again, but they could not halt its descent, not even for a moment. Each collision sent them reeling back, battered and weakened. At last, the 10 dragons charged together in a desperate final assault. But still, they failed. The stamp continued its relentless descent. Now only 100 feet away, for the first time in countless years, the black-robed man stood, his expression dark and grim. His robe spread wide, enveloping his entire body, leaving only his eyes visible, cold and piercing. He moved, preparing to escape the point of impact. At that instant, Wang Lin's killing intent surged. Seal, the golden light vanished. Darkness swallowed the world. Then, in the next heartbeat, an even greater brilliance erupted. Golden runes flooded the void, spreading outward until they filled a radius of 10,000 feet. The black-robed man's expression grew exceedingly grim. He stepped forward to leave, but the runes converged, closing in. Golden light engulfed everything. In an instant, the runes condensed into a shrinking cage around him. For the first time, fear flickered in his eyes. He jerked his head upward, staring at the celestial sealing stamp. As the runes tightened, his gaze hardened with resolve. The 10 dragons roared once more. A destructive aura surged. 10 dragons, shatter the void. One dragon tore itself apart, its body collapsing into a vortex before exploding. A thunderous blast erupted. The golden runes were forced back. Then, another dragon exploded, and another, until all 10 dragons detonated in succession. The power unleashed was beyond imagination. The golden runes shattered. Even the celestial sealing stamp was blasted backward. Wang Lin retreated swiftly. Tarshan abandoned his defense against the black swords and rushed to Wang Lin's side. Spreading his arms, his towering body shielded Wang Lin from the incoming force. The black-robed man's face was pale. His figure flickered, and he finally escaped the sealing range. What a powerful treasure! He muttered, his eyes gleaming with greed as he rose into the air. Even within the celestial realm, this would be famed. He shot upward, landing atop the celestial sealing stamp. Under the aftermath of the dragon explosions, Tarshan coughed blood. His aura dimmed, his massive body trembling. Wang Lin stepped out from behind him. Killing intent surged in his eyes. Like lightning, he charged forward, celestial sword in hand. His speed was terrifying. In an instant, he raised the blade and struck 10 times in succession. 10 heavenly chops merged into one, forming a single, devastating strike that tore through the void toward the black-robed man. Yet the man did not even turn his head. He continued flying toward the stamp, his right hand forming a seal. Celestial spiritual energy gathered rapidly, forming a vast curtain of power before him. "This treasure," he said coldly, "is wasted in your hands. Better that it belongs to me." Wang Lin's eyes turned icy. As the first wave of heavenly chops surged forward, he lifted the celestial sword once more, unleashing 10 additional strikes in rapid succession. These followed closely behind the first, their power layered and relentless. A thunderous impact rang out. The celestial curtain trembled violently, cracks spreading across its surface like shattered glass. Before it could recover, the second wave of heavenly chop arrived, and the curtain collapsed completely. Without hesitation, Wang Lin hurled the celestial sword forward and shouted, his voice echoing like a decree of heaven. "Stop!" The blade shot forth like lightning, too fast for the eye to follow. The black-robed man frowned. He had already reached the top of the celestial sealing stamp. Raising his right hand, he prepared to seize the incoming sword. But in that instant, Wang Lin's command resounded like thunder through the void. The black-robed man's head remained unaffected, his consciousness unbound, but his skeletal hand froze. just for a fraction of a moment. And that was enough. The celestial sword flashed past and severed his entire right arm. The detached limb disintegrated instantly, dissolving into fine bone dust that scattered into the void, vanishing without a trace. Wang Lin's timing was flawless. Had the sword been even slightly farther away, the stop spell would have failed its hold on such a powerful opponent, far too brief to matter. But now, it was decisive. The black-robed man froze, staring at the empty space where his arm had once been. Then, rage. A boundless, seething fury erupted within his eyes, accompanied by a killing intent so intense it seemed to distort the very void. For countless years I have guarded this place, slowly rebuilding my skeleton. And you dare to destroy my arm? His voice twisted with madness. Abandoning all restraint, he gave up on the celestial sealing stamp entirely and charged toward Wang Lin like a furious spectre. His expression was grotesque, warped with hatred. Raising his remaining left hand, he formed a sword with his fingers and slashed forward. The void cracked. A jagged tear split open in the darkness itself. Wang Lin's gaze remained cold. He raised his hand toward the heavens and shouted, "Call the wind." Origin energy surged violently within him. Though the cost was immense, he showed no hesitation. A black wind gathered in his palm. It spread outward in an instant, expanding into a raging storm of darkness. Waves of frigid air rolled forth as the wind howled toward the black-robed man. The man's eyes widened in shock, this time far greater than before. The celestial emperor's spell, "Call the wind." His voice trembled. Who are you?" Fear gripped him. True instinctive fear. He knew this spell. He remembered it all too clearly. Long ago he had violated celestial law. Though his master had pleaded on his behalf, the celestial emperor Bai Fan had cast judgment with a single spell. Call the wind. The emperor had spoken. If he survived, he would be spared. But under that wind, his body had collapsed entirely. Even his bones had disintegrated. Had it not been for his master Carefree intervening at the final moment, even his skull would not have remained. Afterward, he had been sent here to guard the coffin. Only through the power of the Great Formation and countless years of cultivation had he managed to expel the lingering force of that wind and reconstruct his skeleton. And now, he faced it again. Terror seized him. Without hesitation, he retreated, opening his mouth and spitting out a radiant blue core. The moment it appeared, a soft blue glow spread outward, dyeing the entire surroundings in azure light. "What is your relationship with Celestial Emperor Bai Fan?" he demanded. The blue core pulsed gently, forming a protective barrier that shielded him from the encroaching black wind. Wang Lin said nothing. His eyes burned with killing intent. He stepped forward, and the wind followed. At that moment, it was as if he had become one with the storm itself. In an instant, he closed the distance. The black wind surged with the movement of his hand, pressing relentlessly toward the black-robed man. The man's face paled further as he retreated again. The blue light flickered, dimming under the pressure. His eyes narrowed. With a roar, he thrust both hands forward. The blue core spun rapidly, releasing waves of azure light. It formed a vortex, pulling in the black wind and resisting its advance. This call the wind is incomplete. But even so, I cannot let a single trace touch me. If it enters my body again, the old wounds will erupt. His heart pounded with unease. Damn it, how can this person wield such a spell? I must rely on the treasure master gave me. His expression darkened as he retreated further, struggling to hold the line. Wang Lin's killing intent surged. Without hesitation, he summoned the god-slaying war chariot. A burst of five-colored light flashed, and the five-colored butterfly appeared. Its wings fluttered gently. Fine, radiant powder drifted into the air, shimmering with mesmerizing beauty. Yet beneath that beauty lurked destruction. Wang Lin formed a seal and pointed toward the retreating black-robed man. The butterfly flew forward. Its wings trembled and flapped. At that very instant, the black-robed man's body shuddered violently. His eyes filled with terror. His left arm exploded. It collapsed into grey dust, which gathered and transformed into a grey butterfly. The butterfly flapped its wings. The black-robed man's face turned deathly pale. He retreated frantically. His legs collapsed next, disintegrating into nothingness. Panic flooded his eyes. Seeing the butterfly about to flap again, he made a ruthless decision. He detonated the lower half of his own body. The explosive force propelled his upper body far into the distance, carrying him directly above the coffin at the center of the formation. As his upper body entered the formation, thick black gas surged upward from the blood-colored array, rapidly reconstructing his lower half in a hazy, illusory form. But the butterfly flapped once more. The newly formed lower body collapsed instantly. Yet again, more black gas surged forth, restoring him. Again and again, the cycle repeated. The black gas no longer flowed into the coffin, it gathered within him instead. Gradually, his lower half began to solidify. Flesh, blood. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. He charged forward once more, raising his hand. Call the wind. His origin energy was already strained. Using the spell again pushed him to his limits. His face paled, but his killing intent only intensified. He knew, if this man lived, he would never leave this place. The black wind roared forward, crashing toward the formation. The black-robed man's expression changed drastically as he attempted to evade. But at that moment, the butterfly flapped only its left wing. The effect was instantaneous. The black-robed man's body collapsed entirely. Even his robe dissipated into nothingness. Only his head remained, suspended in the void. The terror in his eyes had reached its peak. A law-breaking treasure. This is a treasure that breaks the laws. His voice trembled with madness. He fled without hesitation, but the black wind had already arrived. It swallowed him whole. Despair filled his gaze. If I were at my peak, I could resist this. If I still had my body, I could kill him instantly. But now, if it weren't for Bai Fan's Call the Wind, I would never fear this incomplete version. I refused to die like this. Hatred burned within him. At the moment the black wind engulfed him, he exhaled a massive breath, his very essence origin energy. It collided with the wind. Using the recoil, his skull shot backward, escaping the devouring storm. His eyes hardened. Gritting his teeth, he retreated toward the coffin. Master, forgive me. It is not that your disciple has broken his vow, but if I do not open this coffin, I will surely die. As his voice faded, his skull slammed into the coffin. The lid opened. Inside lay the body of a young man. But the moment it was exposed to the outside world, it began to crumble. Flesh dissolved. Form collapsed. Within moments, nothing remained, only emptiness. At that instant, a voice echoed from the past. Long Daozi, you violated celestial law and were punished by the celestial emperor. Even I could not save you. I could only preserve your skull and seal your origin soul, tasking you to guard this coffin. I have foreseen a great calamity in the celestial realm. Remaining here may be your salvation. This coffin is an ancient treasure, the heaven-avoiding coffin. Before I ascended, I had a son. I owe him too much. I preserved a fragment of his soul within this coffin, so that one day he may be reborn. When he awakens, you will acknowledge him as your master and never betray him. At that time, you may also use this coffin to reconstruct your body and restore your cultivation. The voice lingered, echoing within the black-robed man's skull as it entered the coffin. Master, do not blame me.